Close your eyes for a second. It's Friday evening at JFK in New York. You step off a 14-hour flight, dehydrated, stiff, and half awake. In your hand is a passport and a phone that holds your whole life. You join the customs line thinking only about a shower and sleep. When you reach the booth, the officer asks routine questions: where you came from, how long you'll stay, why you're here. You answer calmly. Then the officer looks at your phone and says, "Unlock it and hand it to me." Your chest tightens. You suddenly remember every chat, every photo, every login, every note you ever typed. You hesitate because you don't want to look suspicious, but you also don't want to surrender privacy. That moment is where many travelers lose control, not for crimes, but for confusion about border searches. This video teaches the rules before you fly. You type your passcode, hand the phone over, and in those 3 seconds, a small technical detail can change what the officer sees. CBP policy says officers should focus on data stored on the device, not information pulled from remote cloud accounts. But if your phone is connected to Wi-Fi or cellular data, apps can automatically sync, refresh, and display messages, photos, and files that are not truly stored locally. A quick swipe into airplane mode can reduce that risk, yet most people never think of it. 2 hours later, after questions and secondary inspection, a traveler can be refused entry, have a visa canceled, or be delayed for days. Green card holders can also face seizure of a device, long questioning, or referral for further review. The point is not to live in fear. The point is to understand the rules of the border zone where privacy rules differ. My name is Fernando, and you are watching US Policy Brief. Today I'm breaking down what CBP can search, what CBP policy says it should not search, and the 5 mistakes that turn a routine entry into a disaster. We will talk about the border search exception, the difference between a basic and an advanced device search, and how behavior in the first minute of inspection affects everything. We will also explain the key difference between temporary visa holders and lawful permanent residents. Visa holders are applying for admission, so officers have broad discretion to deny entry if they cannot verify eligibility. Green card holders have stronger due process protections, but they can still be questioned, delayed, and in limited situations treated as applicants for admission. Finally, you will get a practical checklist you can follow before you fly so you protect yourself without arguing at the booth ever again. Mistake number 1 is believing the Fourth Amendment works at the airport exactly like it works on a city street. The Constitution still matters, but courts recognize a border search exception that gives CBP wide authority to inspect people and property at ports of entry. That authority includes luggage and electronic devices, and basic searches can occur without a warrant. This surprises travelers who think a judge must sign permission first. The practical lesson is not to debate constitutional doctrine in primary inspection. If you argue, refuse, or perform a dramatic right speech, you may be sent to secondary inspection, where time slows down and scrutiny increases. A calm approach protects you more. If you want to assert rights, do it respectfully, with short sentences, and be ready for delays. Border officers are deciding admissibility, and they can escalate quickly if they believe you are hiding something in your case. CBP's device policy is described in Directive 3340-049A, and it distinguishes between basic and advanced searches. A basic search is manual. An officer looks at what is visible on the device, like photos, messages, or recent files. An advanced search uses external equipment to copy, analyze, or recover data. And the directive says advanced searches require higher justification, such as reasonable suspicion or a national security concern. Another key point is cloud content. The directive instructs officers to avoid intentionally accessing information stored remotely. That is why connectivity matters. If your phone is online, many apps automatically load remote content, creating a blurred line between local and cloud. Turning on airplane mode before a search reduces automatic syncing and keeps the review closer to what is physically stored. This is not magic, but it is practical risk reduction within CBP's own policy framework, and it can prevent accidental exposure later. Mistake 1 in practice is turning the interaction into a confrontation. At primary inspection, your goal is to be clear, consistent, and brief. If you raise your voice, lecture about constitutional rights, or accuse the officer of misconduct, you may create reasonable suspicion by your own behavior. The officer can send you to secondary, search your bags, and review more details. The smarter approach is respectful compliance with boundaries. If you are asked a question, answer it. If you do not know, say you do not know. If you need a moment to check dates, ask politely. If you believe a request is inappropriate, you can say, "Officer, I will comply, but I would like to understand the request." Or, "May I speak with a supervisor?" Calm language reduces escalation. Winning an argument is not the goal. Entering the United States is the goal, and leaving with your status intact. Mistake 2 is handing over an unlocked phone while it is still connected to Wi-Fi or cellular data. Many people think the risk is only what is saved on the device, but connectivity can pull new content in real time. Your photo app can fetch cloud albums, your email can refresh old threads, and messaging apps can restore backups. CBP policy discourages deliberate cloud searches, yet a connected phone can display remote content automatically. So if you ever choose to unlock, take a breath and control connectivity first. Turn on airplane mode, then manually turn off Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. That helps keep the search limited to what is stored locally at that moment. Say it calmly if asked. "I'm keeping the device offline during inspection." You are not refusing, you are reducing cloud syncing. Those 3 seconds can change what is visible during a basic search and reduce exposure. Mistake 3 is assuming WhatsApp is safe because it is end-to-end encrypted. Encryption protects messages in transit, not on your screen. Once your phone is unlocked, messages are plain text to the person holding the device. CBP is not only looking for criminals, it often looks for intent that conflicts with your status. A tourist who tells an officer, "I'm here for Disney," but has chats about finding cash, work has created evidence of immigrant intent and unauthorized employment. A student who says, "I'm returning to school," but has messages about dropping classes and working full-time may trigger doubts. Even joking language can be misunderstood when read without context. The solution is not panic, it is consistency. Do not create messages that contradict your stated purpose of travel. If you are visiting, keep your visit narrative true in your planning, your luggage, and your communications, because phones are documentation. Mistake 4 is not knowing the difference between visa rights and green card rights at the port of entry. A temporary visa holder is asking to be admitted, and the burden is on the traveler to prove eligibility and intent. If a visa holder refuses to cooperate, an officer can deny admission and cancel the visa with little warning. A lawful permanent resident is different. A returning resident generally has the right to seek admission and usually must be allowed in unless specific grounds apply, such as abandonment, certain criminal triggers, or fraud. But more rights does not mean no consequences. If you refuse a device search, CBP can seize the phone, delay you for hours, and document the refusal in notes. That record can show up later in future travel or applications. So decide in advance what you will do. And if you comply, keep it offline. Limit syncing. Mistake 5 is triggering an advanced search by acting like you are hiding something. Under CBP policy, a basic search can happen with minimal explanation, but an advanced forensic search is supposed to require reasonable suspicion or a national security reason. So what creates suspicion? Inconsistent answers, extreme nervousness, luggage that does not match your story, and the biggest red flag of all, a phone that was factory reset right before your flight. An empty phone can look like evidence of concealment, and it can push an officer toward escalation. Another trigger is overstating your story, then correcting yourself mid-sentence. Keep your answers short and consistent. Do not over-explain. If you pack documents for work, admit it if your visa allows it, and if it does not, do not travel with them. Your goal is to avoid giving an officer a reason to move from a look to extraction process. Now, your airport survival plan starts before you pack. Step 1. Align your story with your status. If you have a tourist visa, travel like a tourist. Short itinerary, return ticket, and no job plans. If you have a student visa, carry proof of enrollment and your school schedule. If you have a work visa, carry an approval notice and employer letter. Step 2. Keep your phone simple. You do not need to carry every device you own. If you can travel with one phone and leave laptops or extra tablets at home, do it. Step 3. Review what is on your device and remove unnecessary sensitive material you do not need for travel, especially documents and drafts that could be misunderstood. That is not hiding evidence, it is minimizing risk. Step 4. Back up your phone before flying, because a device can be held or seized during inspection sometimes. Step 5 is the 3-second move. If an officer asks you to unlock, pause, and disable connectivity first, turn on airplane mode, then ensure Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are off. This reduces automatic syncing and keeps the review closer to local content. Step 6 is identity control. If you use Face ID or fingerprint unlock, consider disabling it before you reach the booth, because biometric unlock can be triggered quickly under stress. A passcode gives you more control to unlock once and then lock again. Step 7 is boundaries. You can ask respectfully whether the request is for a basic review or an advanced search, and you can ask whether your device will be retained. Keep your tone calm. Step 8 is documentation. If a device is seized, ask for a receipt, record the officer's name if possible, and save the case number for follow-up so you can track it after travel. If you are entering on a temporary visa, remember, the legal burden is on you to prove admissibility. That is why refusal to cooperate can lead to denial of entry and cancellation of the visa. Your best protection is consistency. Your answers, your luggage, your itinerary, and your messages should match. Do not claim you are visiting if you packed a resume, work tools, or long-term housing plans. Do not claim you are studying if you cannot name your program and school. Do not claim you are attending a conference if you have no registration proof. Carry printed support documents because phones die and Wi-Fi fails. If you are asked for a device search, stay calm, keep the phone offline, and answer questions directly. If an officer says you are inadmissible, you can ask for clarification, but avoid arguing. The goal is to keep the interaction short, factual, and non-dramatic. If you are a lawful permanent resident, your position is stronger, but it is not unlimited. Most returning green card holders are admitted routinely, yet the law allows CBP to treat you as an applicant for admission in specific circumstances, including abandonment, certain criminal issues, fraud, or long absences. That is why travel planning matters. You can refuse to provide a password, but CBP may seize the device for examination, and you may be delayed while officers decide how to proceed. Never sign Form I-407, the abandonment form, unless you fully understand it and truly intend to give up status. You can ask for an immigration judge review instead of signing away your green card under pressure. Also, keep proof of U.S. ties in your luggage, because green card holders are often questioned about where they live, pay taxes, and work. A prepared resident looks credible, and credibility shortens inspections. If you are sent to secondary inspection, do not panic. Secondary is common, and many people are cleared and released the same day. Sit calmly, answer truthfully, and keep your story consistent. If you do not understand a question, ask for clarification. If English is difficult, ask for an interpreter. Do not guess dates, addresses, or travel totals. If you are uncertain, say you need to check records. Guessing and being wrong can be framed as lying. If you are asked to sign a statement, read it. If you cannot read it well, ask for help. If you feel pressured, you can request to speak with counsel, though access can be limited at the border. The goal is to avoid emotional reactions that make you look deceptive. Calm behavior, clear documents, and simple answers are your best tools in that room. Most importantly, never lie, because a lie becomes fraud. If CBP seizes your device, treat it like a property issue and a timeline issue. Ask for a written receipt that lists the device, serial number, and a point of contact. Keep that receipt with your travel papers. Back home, document what was taken and when. Do not threaten officers, and do not post accusations online that could complicate communications later. Follow the instructions on the receipt for inquiries, and be patient, because forensic reviews can take weeks. This is another reason to back up your phone before travel. It is also a reason to travel lighter. The fewer devices you carry, the fewer devices can be taken. Some travelers choose to carry a travel phone with essential apps only, while keeping their main device at home. But ensure you still have required documents and do not create the appearance of concealment. The goal is reasonable privacy, not suspicious emptiness. Here are two truths to balance the fear. First, most travelers are not searched, and most searches are quick. Many people enter the United States every day without any device request at all. Second, CBP can choose to search, and the border environment makes those searches legally easier than in the interior. So do not build your plan around "it won't happen to me." And do not build your plan around panic either. Build your plan around readiness. Keep your documents printed and digital. Keep your answers consistent. Keep your phone offline if you unlock it. If you are a visa holder, remember your admission is discretionary. If you are a green card holder, remember your rights are stronger, but your history can still be examined. When you prepare this way, a device request becomes inconvenient, not catastrophic. The goal is to enter legally, preserve your status, and avoid contradictions. Let's recap the 5 mistakes so you can remember them without notes. 1. Arguing the Fourth Amendment at the booth instead of staying calm and practical. 2. Unlocking a connected phone and letting cloud content sink into view. 3. Treating WhatsApp and social chats as harmless when they can be read as intent evidence. 4. Misunderstanding visa versus green card rights and choosing your response without knowing the consequences. 5. Triggering advanced forensic searches through inconsistent stories, extreme nervousness, or a freshly wiped device. Now, the checklist. Update your travel story. Carry supporting documents. Back up your phone. Travel with fewer devices. Disable connectivity before unlocking. Answer briefly. And do not sign forms you do not understand. If you remember only one habit, remember airplane mode before you hand over an unlocked device. That habit alone can reduce cloud exposure and keep a basic search from turning into a problem. None of this means you should fear travel or assume CBP is out to get you. Most officers are doing routine screening, and most travelers go through without incident. But the border is a special legal zone, and knowledge matters more there than anywhere else. If you have a family member flying soon, share these rules with them before they land. If you are a green card holder, review your travel patterns and keep ties to the United States strong. If you are a visa holder, make sure your purpose of travel matches your documents and your communications. Preparation is not paranoia. It is respect for a system that moves fast and makes high-stakes decisions in minutes. If you found this useful, subscribe to US Policy Brief for calm, factual immigration guidance, and comment below with your travel situation so I can cover specific questions in a future episode too. Before you go, remember one principle. At the border, your phone becomes evidence. Treat it that way and you will make safer choices. Keep your story consistent, keep documents ready, and keep emotions steady. If you are asked to unlock, go offline first. If you are unsure, ask calm questions and buy time without arguing. If you have a complicated record, do not gamble at an airport. Get advice before travel. The purpose of this channel is to keep you from learning rules in the worst moment, under bright lights, exhausted, and afraid. You deserve to arrive prepared and confident. This is Fernando at US Policy Brief. I will keep tracking official policy and real patterns so you can travel, work, and live with fewer surprises. For more guidance, subscribe and share this with one family member traveling soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next update.